The stars will be shining bright in the heart of Texas. The fields are set for the Rogue Invitational. Justin Medeiros looks to make it 2 in a row, while a new champion will be crowned for the women. And it's a Miami makeover. Things will be heating up at Wodapalooza in 2023. That's next on Game Central. Hi everybody, and welcome to another edition of Game Central, presented by Guaranteed Rate, the official mortgage company of the Noble CrossFit Games. We continue to roll on through the 2022 offseason, but there are still plenty of big competitions on the schedule the rest of this year, starting in late October with the Rogue Invitational. That competition features stacked fields for both the men and the women. Now, here are the 20 men who will be competing in Austin, Texas on Halloween weekend. 15 of them earned invites based on their placement at the CrossFit Games. 5 earned spots through the Q, the online qualifier. Chandler Smith, Jorge Fernandez, Scott Tetlow, Jack Farlow, and Tim Paulson are those 5. Justin Medeiros returns to defend his Invitational Championship. The 2 men who finished right behind him in Madison will be there as well, with Ricky Garrard and Roman Krenikoff scheduled to compete. Pat Vellner, who won the Invitational in 2020 when it was held virtually, will also be on hand. On the women's side, Annie Thorisdottir is back in individual competition after going to the team side of things for the CrossFit Games. Laura Horvath is the only podium finisher from Madison who will be competing. There were 6 women who earned spots through the Q. Olivia Kerstetter is one of them. She finished first at the CrossFit Games in the 16 to 17-year-old division and will be making her first appearance at the Invitational. But one of the big stories at the Rogue Invitational is who is not going to be there, and that is Tia Toomey. She has won the Rogue Invitational every year it has been held. For more on that and other storylines you should be watching in Austin, here's Tommy Marquez.
Thanks, Sean. As you mentioned, Tia-Clair Toomey will not be competing at the Rogue Invitational. But in addition to Toomey's absence, there are a multitude of factors at play here, and who ultimately seizes the opportunity and grabs the bull by the Longhorns out in Austin, Texas. In addition to Toomey, past Rogue alums and perennial top 10 finishers at the Games, Brooke Wells, Christy Erma O'Connell, Haley Adams, and second fittest woman on earth, Mal O'Brien, aren't competing as well. In total, 5 of the top 10 finishers at Rogue last year aren't returning. Given Wells' path in recovering from injury, it makes sense that she's in full recovery mode ahead of a planned competition in Australia. But for Mal O'Brien and Haley Adams, it's a noteworthy sign that both athletes are actually taking a step back in favor of a long-term development approach. And given their age and potential ahead of them, that means sacrificing opportunities like Rogue in the short term. In their absence, there are a few noteworthy groups that stand to benefit. There's young stars and newcomers to the Invitational like Emma Lawson and Alexis Raptis, who earned the attention of everyone through top 10 finishes at the Games, and 16 to 17-year-old champion Olivia Kerstetter, who, given the performances of O'Brien and Lawson, could be the next teen in line to shake up the individual divisions, with this being her first test run, and a performance in the Q that earned her spot is a good indication of what she's capable of. Then there's veterans who are looking to kind of keep things moving in the right direction after recent upticks in performance and success at higher levels. Danielle Brandon, Arielle Loewen, and Emma McQuaid all set or match career best placings at the Games this year and should be a factor. Brandon was in the podium hunt all weekend long in Madison, and after battling injuries last season, she should be able to improve upon her 11th place finish in Austin last year. After missing at semifinals, Loewen smoked the LCQ, got her first career event win at the Games, and seems to be flourishing after doubling down on her training following the wake-up call at semifinals. Emma McQuaid has been racking up podiums this year at Wodapalooza, Strength in Depth, and Madrid, and she comes in as the 4th highest ranked athlete returning from last year's Rogue field, and just continues to improve in every live competition we see her in. Then there's the athletes with a proven track record and the hardware to prove it, either from the Games or Rogue in previous years. Annie Thorisdottir and Cara Saunders need no introduction, and both have podiumed at Rogue and the Games in previous years as well. But Annie will be returning to the individual side after spending the game season on a team, and this should serve as a prep for potentially another run on the indie side next year. And don't forget, she led Toomey by 15 points heading into the final day of competition at Rogue last season. Gabby Migala finished 3rd at Rogue last year, but saw her placing at the Games slip by 2 spots. And Austin should be a great opportunity to get back on the podium track, knowing that she's been there before in this same setting. And you can't ignore Laura Horvath. She has competed in 6 live events the past 2 seasons, and she's podiumed in 5 of those 6 events. And she has never finished lower than 4th, which just so happened to be at Rogue last year. And she will be a major factor and should be one of the favorites to win overall given her resume. Now, Sean, I realize I basically named just half of the field at the Rogue Invitational this year, but with some of those big names that I mentioned previously out of the equation, I think the parity is going to be at an all-time high, meaning that there's more women factoring in from workout to workout, making this an exciting to watch once we get to the competition in October.
The 2022 Rogue Invitational will be held at the Dell Diamond in Round Rock, Texas, starting on October 28th and finishing up on the 30th. And don't forget that there is a strongman and a legends competition that are being held in Austin as well that weekend at the Dell Diamond in Round Rock, Texas. Wodapalooza is another one of the major off-season competitions. It will be held January 12th through the 15th in Miami, Florida. And here's a look at the payouts for every division there. It's another great opportunity for athletes to earn a nice payday. Both the men's and women's winners will take home $75,000. The winners of the elite teams division will split $30,000. And there are also payouts for the masters and adaptive divisions as well. Things are going to look a lot different at Wodapalooza in 2023. They have a new title sponsor in Tier that has helped increase the prize purse. The elite teams and elite individual competitions are also going to be held on different days, and that will allow more opportunities for athletes to compete. So if you wanted to, you could do both competitions instead of having to pick just one. Also, both the elite teams and individual competitions will take place over 2 days instead of 3. There are plenty of other off-season competitions on the calendar, starting with one this weekend in Central America. The Greatness Fit Fest starts on September 23rd and runs through the 25th. It's in Guatemala City, Guatemala. There are several divisions, including an elite and a 4-person team division. Thanks so much for checking out this edition of Game Central, presented by Guaranteed Rate, the official mortgage company of the Noble CrossFit Games. And if you haven't already, you can check out Fittest on Earth Next Gen, the 2021 CrossFit Games documentary. That's available now on iTunes. And the first 8 episodes of Miles to Madison, you can watch those now on the CrossFit Games YouTube channel. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'm Sean Woodland, and we'll talk to you next time.